Oh, we're live. What's up, guys? What's going on? Get a couple people on here. Get situated. Buddy, hanging in there. Who else we got on here? Well, starting Tradition Outdoors. What happened last week? What happened with what? All right, guys. So we're live Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Welcome back, everybody that's joining in. Greatly appreciated. Love hanging out with you guys. What's up, Joe? What's going on? I'm still out of town, working as you can see. I did have off of work yesterday, and Travis, first time watcher. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining into the live stream. I did have off Monday and Tuesday, and we turkey hunted Saturday. How's food plots coming along? We haven't even started yet. The weather is still not cooperating, but I did manage to get out turkey hunting Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday in Pennsylvania on the new farm. Didn't have any luck. Probably one of many reasons why, but I did get to learn a few things about the property. Starting Tradition, did you go live last week? Yes, I did. Got to learn a lot about the property. Clearfield County, Clearfield, PA. We got in there Saturday morning. It was opening day of turkey. We heard a bunch of gobbles on the roost, and after that, everything went silent. Didn't hear nothing the rest of the day. Heard a bunch of owls hooting, heard them gobbling, firing away on the roost. Heard a few gunshots off into the distance, but with that, they weren't roosted on the property. They were gobbling off to the east and off to the west. So they weren't on the property, which I got to learn that because this is the first time, hunting wise on the property. So again, every time you go in the woods is a learning experience. So they were roosted off to the east and off to the west, which isn't really a bad thing. What's up, buddy? Thanks for joining in. Because they can always come in to my property if they have a reason to. So, gotta go to baseball, join back in. No problem, buddy. So, Sunday you can't hunt. Can't hunt on Sundays in PA. Went back Monday, and they were roosted off into the east, far away. Like, probably a half a mile away. You could hear them gobbling. Didn't see nothing the rest of the day. Everything was silent. And then Tuesday, today, hunted this morning, and this time they were off to the west. Same thing, firing away, far, far away, probably a half a mile, or at least a quarter mile. Pretty far away though. So they weren't on the property, which if you go back a month ago, and even really 2 weeks ago, I had them on the fire road. If you guys, it was about 2 weeks ago on a video I put up on attracting turkeys on logging roads, and we cleared this old logging road off, and we just didn't really do anything to it other than disc it up a little bit, just kind of disturb the dirt, and turkeys were in there. They were in there. I had some toms in there strutting, and I thought it was going to be good. So, and if you go back a month ago, I mean, there was probably 30 hens on trail camera, and I know for sure it was 3 toms and 2 jakes. So there's turkeys around. There's definitely turkeys in the area, but they're not, according to these past 3 days, they weren't roosting on the property, and they weren't even in the area, technically. So why is that? Well, many reasons. Turkey season, we did catch a poacher on Youth Turkey Day, which was 2 Saturdays ago. There was a youth hunter carrying a shotgun on my property without an adult. He was walking down the fire road, and then he came back down the fire road about 5 or 10 minutes later. So, one, he's illegal on my property with a weapon, and then 2, he's by himself without an adult. So I haven't even got the chance to look at the full video yet because it's on the SD card and I was just viewing it on the trail camera. So when I get home tomorrow, I'm going to check that out and see what's going on with that. But we put some new signs up in the area, basically handwritten notes at the end of the fire roads and a couple other different signs just stating what's going on with the with the trespassers, and I have them on video and this, that, and the other. So why aren't the turkeys there? Well, is this kid hunting on the property when we're not there? I don't know. Did he mess the birds up? Did he just push them off the property? I don't know. It could be a neighbor baiting them with corn. It could be lots of different reasons why. I did only catch the kid on there one time, which is a shame. He's by himself with a weapon on my property without an adult on Youth Turkey Day, which is kind of weird. But I didn't catch anybody else. There's nobody else on there. So hopefully the way we hung the signs and what I wrote on the signs, hopefully it stops that issue, at least for now, and hopefully anything in the future. But yes, it is a shame that people can't respect other people's property. So it could be, like I said, it could be a neighbor that's now baiting them. We were talking about that yesterday. You don't know what's going on. But technically, if you go back, I was talking to the landowner of the property, and if you go back, he's had the property for 40 years, and nothing's ever been done to the property. It's full of pines. It has their pines are so thick together. There's very, very little sunlight that hits the floor, the ground, throughout the woods. So there's very little vegetation and browse that can grow in the woods because all the sunlight is being blocked. So pines are good for turkeys. They go through there scratching. There's no oak trees on the property. I've not seen a single oak tree anywhere, which is weird. But so there's no acorns anywhere. Pines is not really good for bedding for deer. I mean, yeah, it's thick, but there's no browse. So typically deer are going to bed, where they can just get up and walk a couple 100 feet or something and eat some browse. But there's none there. So the turkeys are kind of the same way. Yeah, there's fields, but the fields are nothing. Like there's literally the field is covered in what do you call it, Queen Anne's lace, which is just, it grows like 3-4 foot tall, has zero beneficial value to deer or turkeys. It's covered in that, and there's no green grass growing anywhere in the fields. There's nothing. So technically there's really no reason for turkeys to be in there. There's nothing for them. So yeah, they were in there previously, but so what's changed? I don't really know. So I'm not a expert turkey hunter, but there's many different things. So we're going to fix all that. We're going to create, we're going to open the canopy up a little bit, whether it's cutting some trees out, doing some hack and squirt methods, creating some hinge cutting. We're going to put in food plots. I'm trying to make this a good area to see a lot of wildlife. That's the whole point of it. I'm not trying to kill the biggest buck in the world, but I do want to try to make it. That's the whole reason I got the place, was to try to see what I can get out of it. And it's a place where I want to be able to go and hunt and actually see wildlife, and get them and film it, and just to see the progress over the years, and to actually see what you can get out of it, which is cool to me. It's always what you do this year is going to benefit next year. That's the cool thing about managing a land and all that cool stuff. So I'm very excited to see what comes out of it. Food plots aren't going to be planted until literally another 3.5 weeks. it's going to be toward the end of May, just because the weather hasn't been cooperating, and the month of May is super busy for myself. So it still gets very cold out at the property. It's kind of like where that property is tucked away. It's just a different animal out there. Like it snowed there on Sunday. It was cold. I hunted yesterday morning. It was like 24 degrees outside. So it's kind of like it's just a different animal there, and it's just cold all the time. So I can't really plant some of the things that I want to plant until the soil temperatures get to about 60 degrees, 58, 60, you know, and the nighttime temperatures are still going down into the upper 30s to low 40s. So we're going to give it another month to let that warm up, let that soil warm up so we can plant some of the stuff. We're going to plant some buckwheat. That needs warm soil. We got some deer egg, the wall, which grows, it's a sorghum that grows deer egg there. It's a sorghum that grows like 10 or 12 feet tall. That needs a 60 degree or so soil temperature. Even the clover. What's up, SJ Outdoors? What's up, buddy? Even the clover isn't really germinating. It's not going to germinate because the ground's so cold, you know, it's still freezing the temperature, you know, or freezing the ground. So clover, I mean, you need 50, something like that, 50 degree temperature. By the time the soil warms up, it'll be time to plant fall food plots. Yeah, it's really crazy this year. You know, it's funny because where that property is located, there's nothing budding, there's nothing greening up, except for the apple trees. They're getting some buds on the apple trees, but there's nothing there green and growing. But if I drove an hour away from the property, and it was like I'm in a whole different state because everything's green, you know, everything's growing. So it's kind of just in that area. It's going to have a very short growing season, and that's why one of the important things that I want to have is a year-round food plot source, a mix of annuals and perennials. The weather has been the same here in southeast PA. 34 degrees Saturday morning for turkey hunting, 75 today. Yeah, that's how it is where I was. It's just very cold. And like right now, I'm in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, working, and it's like 80 degrees outside right now, which I'm sure tomorrow will probably be like 20. But it's a crazy year, crazy spring. Nothing greening up down here either, other than grass. SJ Outdoors. Yeah, it's I don't even have grass greening up anywhere. There are, I think, 6 apple trees on the property. Those are actually starting to get buds on them. They are actually budding out, so I'm pretty excited about that. And one thing about that is I talked to the landowner yesterday, and the apple trees that he knows of that have not produced apples in 10 years. That's what I was talking to him about yesterday. 10 years the apples have not produced apples. Apple trees have not produced apples. They haven't been pruned. They haven't been anything. There's nothing been done to them in that long. So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna spray them suckers with Antler Grow. We're gonna spray them with the NPK, and I guarantee you we get apples. That's gonna be a little test that I'm gonna do this year. Is another few weeks, once they start really leafing out and budding out, we're gonna go ahead and spray them and see if we can get some apples out of them. Because he's saying that it's been 10 years since apples have been on there. So that'll be a cool test there. But there are apple trees. As far as food source goes, natural browse looks pretty limited so far. So we're going to fix that a little bit. Might even get a tractor in there, clear out some more areas to get more, you know, vegetation and things like that growing. But like I was saying, I want to get a mix of annuals and perennials in there. That way I have a 365 food source on the property, just because of the browse is very limited, and in that area the growing season is very short. So it's not like we're down south where you have, you know, 8 months, 9 months of green and growing plants. Up here you're going to have possibly May, June, July, August, September, October, maybe, if that long. So you might have 5 months of green and growing browse. Yes, they will transition to woody browse, but I want that year-round green and growing food source. So we're going to throw some deer egg seed in there, a mix of clover, some chicory, um, some buckwheat, and then in the fall we're going to do Nebraskas and turnips and all that good stuff. So we're going to tune it up. Everything's green here in Georgia. It's 80 degrees here, no rain for a while, so I hope our food plots will do good. Yeah, I'm sure they will. I'm sure you'll be fine. 80 degrees is, I'd love to have 80 degrees for like from here on out. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. You know, hunting, the whole point of this video was hunting small land. The property is 118 acres. The main chunk of property is 100 acres. So you probably have 80 acres, I would say, of woods, 75, 80 acres of woods, which connects to other large wooded areas. So the goal this year for myself is to have 5% of the property in food plots, which I will have. I'll have 5 acres out of 100 acres I'll have in food plots. That's pretty much a standard, you know, 5 to 10% of your property in food plots, I believe. So I'm gonna have 5% this year, and then maybe next year we'll increase a little bit. But being that it is technically still small land, it's 100 acres, so, and nothing's been ever done to the property. It's not really suited for habitat because nothing's ever been done. The owners owned it for 40 years. I think 5 years ago they kind of did a little, they timbered it out a little bit, just some small areas, logged it out. They cut some pines down, I believe, and they put some fire logging roads in. So over the course of the time, you know, we're going to clear the logging roads, you know, get those growing, open the canopy up, get as much food in there as we possibly can to create better habitat. We're going to do hinge cutting. We're going to cut some more pines out of the way and get some more sunlight down to the floor to get some vegetation growing back up. And then next year, my plan, everything should be kind of going in the right direction with turkeys, and because there's no reason for them to stay there, you know, it's just not really suited for them. So hopefully by next spring we can it'll be a lot better than what it is now, and that's the fun of it, you know. Season's not over yet. We still got 3 weeks of turkey season to go, so we could still kill some out of there. Not killing any jakes, or let the jakes go. We're only going to kill longbeards, 1, you know, possibly 2. We'll see how it goes, but no jakes. And we'll see how the fall season goes. You know, we have a fall season for turkeys, so we'll see what happens. Do you have full access to do whatever you want on the land? Pretty much. I mean, I can't go cutting down every tree I want, but pretty much I have full run of the place. I can pretty much do what I want. You know, if I want to do something major, then I'd have to, you know, get permission from the landowner. But it's a lease. It's in my name, a lease property. So I have all rights to the property. But yeah, pretty much I can do whatever I want. Obviously, when I first got the place, I cleared it, you know, for food plots and make sure that was good and all that other stuff. So property has a lot of room for improvement, so we'll see what happens. What else? You guys got any questions? Any questions? I wrote a couple things down that I wanted to talk about. I can't remember them all. Yeah, so the pines, you know, everybody thinks pine trees are good for cover. They can be, But typically in pines, the they smother all the sunlight out, and there's no browse because none of the sunlight is able to hit the floor. So, which is what I have at my property, and deer typically don't like that because they want to bed somewhere where they feel safe, but also to where they can get up and move around and feed a little bit. So in those pine areas, if there's no browse there, there's really no reason for them to bed there. And when you did your lease, did you do a year or 3 to 5 year blocks? 3 year. It'd be a 3 year. And then after that, I can renew it for more. But 3 years for now. We'll see how it goes. Have you found any mass-producing trees other than apple and soil area around pines are very acidic? Yes. And soils around pines are very acidic. Very true. I have not found any mass-producing trees other than the apple trees. So that's why I really want to get those going again. They're very old. Like you said, and there is no cover because I can see 200 yards, no problem. Yeah, that's the problem with pines. They really have no beneficial value to your land for cover or because and for browse, because like you just said, you can see typically when you stand in pines you can see straight through them. So there's ways you can manipulate them a little bit, cut some down, cut some roads through them, and things like that. But pines aren't really that good to have on the property. Obviously like to have a mix of different species of trees, but pines no good. So we'll have to see what happens, but that's why I want to get those apple trees producing apples again. From what I was told, 10 years they haven't produced apples. So if I can get those going, that'll be mass producing tree. So we'll have to see what else is in there. I haven't seen anything else. I haven't seen any oaks. I think there is a few crabapple trees, I believe. I think that's all. Yeah. So, like I said, really getting the food source up on the place will help tremendously, and creating the healthiest food source is what's going to be the key, because we've already did the liming, we already spread the lime, the pH is in our favor now, so we just have to get stuff planted and get it fertilized and spray it with Antler Grow, and just kind of with what we got, take a stick and beat the crap out of it, and it will have apples. 100% real. Our property is 265 acres, 9 years. Oh, that message went away. I didn't get to see it there. Preston disappeared too quick. So yeah, my goal is I really want to get those apple trees producing. It's a little bit too late to prune them now because they're already starting to bud out. So I'd be something to do next year, late winter, early spring, before they start getting buds on them. So this year we'll just spray them, fertilize them, and see if they can produce some apples, which would be pretty cool. To have a fruit trees on the property that's producing apples, because it'll definitely help. But I think there's like 6 of them, so might even be a little bit more. I never really counted them, but we'll get some water on there. We might dig a little pond or something, just something little for extra water. But there's a creek that runs through the property, and a lot of people think that deer need like an actual water source, and they really don't. They don't really drink that much water. Majority of water that a deer and animals get is through food, through browse. So very seldom will they ever hit a food source. Old man told my dad, hold the limbs up by 2 to 4 because all the apples, 2 by 4. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with it. But these trees are very old, very very old. Um, so it'll be interesting to see how they turn out. But a water source, um, very seldom will a deer actually go to like a pond or something to drink some water. Yes, they will do it, but the majority of their water content comes through plants. So digging like a huge pond um, is just, I don't really see, you know, a reason to. You know, there's already a stream there. So if anything, we'll just do, you know, a small one or something that we dig in the ground and put like a little fish pond in there or something near like a bow stand or something like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Anybody have any questions? If any of you guys are looking for food plot seed, do check out Deer Egg. Um, very good seed. And also, you know, about Antler Grow. You know, check that out. Food plot season's coming. Browse, you know, is starting to come up in areas, so you can get that out. Start spraying. You know, we have a lot of stuff. Busy month in May. We got this race that we're doing. Most of the water that deer gets comes from plants. A big majority of it from their water content comes from their plants. I don't know the exact percentage, but it's more than 50%. I would say probably 60, maybe 70% of water that they get is through green growing plants. Yes, they will hit water sources and drink, you know, actual water, but more of it comes from plants. 100%. Yep. Water barrels are hooked up. Yes, water barrels are hooked up. I hooked those up Sunday, I believe. Took care of that. So we will have rainwater. As most of you know, I built a rainwater collection system with Chris. So that is now up and running. That's cool. Didn't know that. That's very helpful. Yeah, see, a lot of people, you know, the small things, you know, we think animals need to drink water, and they do. They need that there for them, but that whole thing of where people think that deer, you know, and animals can't survive without, like, you know, dumping something on the ground. Looks like we got a clown in here. Sorry about that, guys. Had to block this guy. I get 55 gallon. Yeah, he's gone all right. That was weird. So lost my train of thought now. So the barrels are hooked up, so we got rainwater coming. That's all hooked up now. So the cool thing with the rainwater is it has nitrogen in it. So yes, if it rains and waters the plants, it's going to have nitrogen there. But now we have extra water, so when we go to spray, that has nitrogen in it as well. So it's a huge help there. But get a 45-gallon drum container at Tractor Supply or somewhere, and rim it out and fill it. They really hit it about the deer getting water from plants. Yes. So a lot of people get that mixed up through thinking that deer can't survive without dumping, you know, a pile of corn or something like that on the ground, because it's not natural to them. You know, deer get everything they need through green and growing plants. They get water content, they get roughage, they get tonnage, they get vitamins, they get minerals. all through the green growing plants. When those plants die and go, not die, but go dormant and the leaves are gone, they eat the woody browse. That's just the way nature designed them to do. So a lot of that water, like I said, I don't know the exact percentage, may even be 80%, 75%, but a lot of that comes through green growing plants. That's how they get the majority of their water content. So, but yes, moisture drawn from plants and the dew. Absolutely. The dew. It's good stuff. Just like humans. Yes, I'm drinking a bottle of water, but same thing as humans. Like when you eat vegetables, cucumbers, you know, very high water content, watermelon, you know, things like that. It's full of water. Roughage, lettuce, you know, things like that. We get a lot of our water content from those plants that we actually eat, not from like macro stuff as far as like a cheeseburger, you know, dead food. You know, no, it's not. We don't get any water from that. But for green growing plants, vegetables and fruits, and you know, your lettuces and things like that, that's where we get a lot of our water content and stay hydrated and this, that, and the other. The same goes for animals, you know, deer and all that stuff. So yeah. Well, guys, I am going to hop off here. Got to get up at 2:30 in the morning. So I'm glad you guys joined in. We'll be back next Tuesday. Talk about more stuff, and then we'll keep you updated on the food plots, keep you updated on turkey hunting. I do have a new video coming out tomorrow. Hopefully I can get it up on time at 7 o'clock. It may be a little bit late, but that video will be coming out tomorrow around 7 p.m. Eastern time. I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.